Here's something nobody wants to admit. The businesses making the most money right now aren't sexy. They're not innovative. They're not disruptive. They're boring. And that's exactly why they print money. While you've been chasing the next shiny opportunity, people are getting rich with businesses you wouldn't even consider. And I'm about to show you exactly what they're doing. Now, in this video, I'm breaking down the highest paying service businesses that nobody's talking about. And here's the thing. I'm making over $41,000 a month, generating leads for businesses like them. And my students are pulling in $2,000 to $6,000 a month doing the same thing. If you want to learn that model, the link's in the description. But let me show you these 5 businesses first. Business number 5, junk removal. You've probably driven past a junk removal truck and thought, who does that for a living, right? Well, let me tell you, those guys are making bank. Think about it for a second. People around you right now need junk removed. Old furniture, right? Appliances, construction debris, estate cleanouts, all of the stuff people need gone, right? And they'll pay you $200 to $1,500 just to haul it away. You don't need fancy equipment, just a truck, a trailer, and the willingness to load heavy junk. The average job takes 2 to 4 hours, and you're walking away with $300 to $800. You do 3 jobs a day, you're making $12,000 to $24,000 a month. A one-truck business typically grosses $170,000 to $200,000 annually, and nets around $60,000 to $80,000 for the owner. Net margins run 35 to 40% when you're owner operated. Scale to 2 trucks though, you're looking at $120,000 net income. And here's the kicker. Startup cost only run $5,000 to $15,000. That's it. The business is stupid simple and the demand never stops. Business number 4, dumpster rentals. Now we're talking assets, right? Every construction site in your city, every home renovation on your block, they all need a dumpster, right? The average rental fee is $300 to $600 per dumpster per week. You buy a dumpster for $3,000 to $5,000 and it pays for itself in 10 rentals. After that, it's pure profit month after month. You can start with a used roll-off trailer for around $8,000. Total startup runs $15,000 to $50,000 if you go lean. Let me break this down for you. 6 dumpsters consistently rented out, that's roughly $27,000 a month in gross revenue. Think about that for a second. Net margins are going to run 30 to 50%. So you're looking at $10,000 to $15,000 a month in profit once you get your fleet working for you. Scale that over a year, right? $150,000 to $200,000 in annual owner income is totally achievable here. And here's what I love about this. Customers call you. They Google dumpster rental near me. And if you show up in those results, you win. Each dumpster is an asset that pays for itself, then just prints money. Business number 3, paintless dent repair, PDR. This is the craft that nobody sees coming, okay? So here's how this works. You ever had a door ding in a parking lot? Right? PDR guys fix this without even touching the paint. They use these metal rods and body tools to massage the dent out from the inside. It's almost like magic, and people will pay $100 to $200 for a small dent and $500 for complex work, right? You know what the material costs are? Maybe like $5. That means gross margins run 95% on most jobs, and net margins for solo operators hit 50+% easily. Startup costs run $5,000 to $10,000 for tools, training, but once you have the skill, nearly pure profit on every single dent that you fix. Average skilled techs are making $75,000 to $120,000 annually, and top performers are pulling in $150,000 to $250,000 or more. Here's the kicker. PDR is completely mobile. You're not tied to a shop. You go to car dealership, right? Body shops, rental companies, or customers' homes. And when hailstorms hit a city and damage thousands of cars, PDR techs travel there and make absolutely bank for doing it. Some operators report making $300,000 in a single busy hail season because insurance pays for the hail damage repair, and there aren't enough techs to handle all the volume that's going on. Paintless debt repair is a solo craft that prints money once you learn it. Business number 2, porta potty rentals. And here's the unsexy champion, porta potty rentals. I know what you're thinking though. Josh, you want me to rent porta potties? Yeah, I do. Because the business is a gold mine that nobody wants to touch. Construction sites, outdoor events, weddings, festivals, marathons. They all need porta potties, right? The average rental fee is $150 to $300 per unit, per event, or per month, right? Once you buy the units, guys, they pay for themselves in 6 to 12 months. After that, every rental is pure profit in your pocket. Small operators with 10 to 20 units are netting $30,000 to $75,000 every single year. Scale yourself to 100 units, you're looking at $200,000 in owner income. Net margins are going to run 20 to 25%, and some operators hit 30+%. ROI runs 200 to 400% over 5 years per unit. And here's the best part. OSHA says construction sites have to have one toilet for every 10 to 15 workers. This is not a suggestion. This is the law, which means construction companies don't get to choose whether they rent from you or not. They have to rent from somebody, and it might as well be you. Guaranteed baseline demand, right? And construction sites don't rent them for a weekend. They rent them for months at a time. Reoccurring revenue, right? And here's why nobody competes with you, because they think it's gross. That's exactly why it works, guys. The portable sanitation market is projected to grow from $2.8 billion in just 2024 to $5.3 billion by 2030. Now look, startup costs run about $160,000 for a full setup with, a pump, trucks, units, but you can start smaller with used equipment and a few units, then reinvest rental income to grow your fleet, right? You've got low competition, OSHA mandated demand, reoccurring revenue, and 200 to 400% ROI over time. Once your units are paid off, it's a cash printing machine. Business number 1, fire, water damage restoration. And here's the king, fire and water damage restoration. This is the business where insurance companies are backing you to the tune of $50,000 per job. So here's how this works. When a house catches fire or a basement floods or a pipe bursts, the homeowner files an insurance claim. The insurance company sends out an adjuster and calls a restoration company to handle the emergency mitigation and the rebuild for them. That's you, right? And the insurance company pays you directly. No chasing invoices. No wondering if the check will clear. Emergency mitigation work, water extraction, right? Drying, smoke cleanup. That carries 75% gross margins. The rebuild and restoration work carries 50% gross margins. Overall net margins for the business run 10 to 15% once you have employees and overhead. But if you're the owner operator or running a small crew, you keep way more money. A solo operator with one helper can realistically gross $200,000 a year. A small crew with a handful of techs can hit $1 million in revenue. Owner income for established small operations run $100,000 to $200,000 a year. Let me put this into perspective for you real quick. One big fire restoration job, $50,000 contract. One basement flood dry out, $5,000 for a few days of work. If you do one job per week, just one, that's 52 jobs a year. You know what that adds up to? $906,000 in revenue with $450,000 in gross profit. One job per week. You don't need hundreds of clients. You need a handful of big jobs and steady pipeline of small emergencies. Startup costs run $30,000 to $50,000 for equipment. Commercial, right? Dehumidifiers, air movers, moisture detection, tools, wet vacs. Yeah, a reliable vehicle for sure, right? Why does this work? Because disasters are constant. Fires happen, pipes burst, especially in winter. Basements flood during heavy rain, and it never stops. And that's why this business is recession resistant. Disasters don't care if the economy is good or bad, right? The business is also scalable, guys. You can start solo, handle small water damage jobs, build your reputation, then expand to a crew and take on bigger fire restorations and multi-day projects, right? You've got multiple revenue streams as well working for you. Emergency mitigation when the disaster first hits, rebuild and restoration to fix everything, contents cleaning for damaged belongings, right? Mold remediation when that shows up. Want to know the key to success? Building relationships with insurance adjusters, agents, plumbers who refer you for water damage, and property managers, right? Once you're on their preferred vendors list, the work just flows in. You've got insurance-backed payments, 75% gross margins on emergency mitigation, $50,000 for a single job, $200,000 annual income for a solo, and the potential for $1 million in revenue with a small crew. It's recession resistant, the demand is endless, and you're generally helping people in their worst moments. You want to know why these businesses actually work? Because you and I, we're not waking up thinking, man, I'd love to pump porta potties today. Nobody is, but construction companies, event planners, and car dealerships and homeowners, they wake up every single day needing this stuff, right? And they'll pay you to do it. Look, I get it. You're probably sitting there thinking, Josh, this sounds too unglamorous, right? And here's the thing. Most entrepreneurs are too busy chasing drop shipping, coaching, and info products. Meanwhile, these service businesses have way less competition and way more demand. Once you land a construction site client for porta potties, they'll need you for months. Once you fix dents at a dealership, they'll call you back every week. Once you handle a restoration job, then insurance adjusters refer you to the next claim, right? You're not starting from zero every month. You're stacking reoccurring contracts and referral relationships. Let me hit you with some numbers real quick. Fire and water restoration is a multi-billion-dollar industry every single year. Porta potties are growing from 2.8 billion to 5.3 billion by 2030. Dumpster rentals are part of a 484 billion global waste management industry, and junk removal alone is over 10 billion a year in the US. And here's what matters. There's no dominant player controlling everything. It's all small businesses competing locally. That means if you just show up, deliver quality work, and market yourself, then you win. Look, these businesses work. The money is there and the demand is real. But let me be straight with you about something. Most of these businesses still trade time for money if you do it wrong. You can make $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 as an owner, but here's the catch. You're still trading your time for money. You're managing crews, you're on call, you're handling emergencies at 2 a.m. when somebody's basement floods. It's lucrative, but it's labor. And here's what I realized. The real power isn't in doing the service. It's in controlling the leads. When you generate customers for service businesses, you own the asset. You're not the one hauling junk. You're not the one pumping porta potties. You're not the one responding at 2 a.m. to emergency water damage calls. You're the one generating the customers and leasing those customers to business owners who do the work. They pay you $1,000 to $2,000 a month for access to those leads, and you're not lifting a finger. You rank a website for fire damage restoration in Phoenix, Arizona, and now you control those leads. Restoration companies will pay you monthly just to access those customers. You're not competing with anybody. You're not trading your time for money, and you own the asset that generates the income. That's the model I teach in the free training. The link is down in the description. Service businesses can work. The 5 I just showed you, they're proven, they're profitable, they're real. But if you want to own your own income without being tied to the work, digital leasing is the move. Some of you are probably fired up right now. Some of you are skeptical. Either way, the opportunity is sitting right in front of you. Let's go build something that lasts.